Hey everyone, good evening. How is everyone? How are you doing? How was your Saturday? And how was your Saturday evening? Any plans? I hope you are not joining me and you have not cancelled any of your plans and you're joining me. Otherwise, I'm expecting at least a few more people to join us today. Usually we have around 30 odd people who join us, but I think probably we'll have a little more people. Let's see today. But today I have a lot of things planned in my agenda. So let's see what's in store. But before that, don't forget, tomorrow is a Sunday, right? And tomorrow you will be receiving the newsletter. So in case you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, then you can subscribe to the newsletter. So I'll just post the link quickly for you to refer to, so that in case you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, do hit the subscribe button and subscribe. Now the newsletter, you can see the past newsletters on my blog here. So you just click on that newsletters link and you will see the last 19 editions of the newsletter, right? So we are the 20th edition. Now that's been some achievement for me, at least, because doing something 20 weeks continuously on every Saturday, except for the vacation I took off, I think that's something that I will be proud of myself. And I hope you're also enjoying my newsletter. So if you do enjoy this newsletter, just let me know in the comment section, so that it gives me a little excitement as well. So I'd be more than happy to know your feedback on the newsletters. Like in the last week newsletter, we mentioned that can Nifty head to 18,300 levels, and we hit that 18,300 level just in 4 days, right? And also I cover 4 stocks every newsletter. Like last week I did cover 4 stocks, and the most interesting part for me, at least in the newsletter, is the blog that I write every week. At the end of the newsletter, you'll find a blog, and that blog article would redirect to your blog, and this blog is here. Now I know at least there'll be a few who'd be joining me for the first time today. So if in case you're new to the markets, right, there should be some place for you to start. So keeping that in mind, I've tried to design this blog, and every week I've been updating one article, right? So depending on how you should be looking at markets. So in case you're a beginner, don't forget to visit my blog. It's nicely structured, so you can get started from here, and then you go to basics of technical analysis, then you can go to chart patterns, and then you go to stock strategies. So it's nicely aligned, and I'm sure that's going to be quite helpful for you, especially if you're a beginner in markets. So don't forget to visit my blog, and don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter so that you don't miss this week's edition, right? The next thing is, again, I'm sure most of you are here, you've seen the YouTube channel, but the thing that we do every day is every trading day, daily evening at 11 p.m. I come live on YouTube, and I do share my thoughts on markets, my intraday views on Nifty, and also we discuss a live portfolio where I am trading with 1 lakh, and that 1 lakh, today is worth 1.25 lakhs. All this happened in just 3 months. So also I try to guide you here how you should select stocks, what kind of stocks you should be looking at, and this is live portfolio with real money. So today it's almost 24 and we have another 400 as cash. So it's almost 25% up in 3 months, and you do not want to miss this, because if you're really interested in learning, then probably this is the place for you to learn, and everything is tracked with the trading journal, right? So each and every trade that we take, every trade that we close, everything is being tracked here, and you might want to take a look at it. And we don't have that much of accuracy, but when we win really big. So you might want to take at the sheet. I'll take a look at the sheet. I just posted this on the chats. And also a lot of stock questions that you have, I answer them every day, right? So it's around a 30 to 45 minute session, daily night at 11. And now I'm planning to postpone the Friday evening sessions to Saturday, based on one of the users' feedback, Vijay, who had given me his feedback. So following that, I'm having a session on the weekend, so that I can have more people, and I probably will cover more. I'll give you more time as well. So that's the next thing I wanted to quickly touch on. And all these stock newsletter recommendations are tracked in the sheet for you. So if you see, we have a lot of stocks which have gone up 20%, 30%, and very few stocks have gone down below 10%, right? So that's how this bull market has been. So yeah, all you have to do is just have a process. So don't forget to even look at this sheet if you haven't. So I'll also post this on the chat session here, so that you can take a look at it, right? Now, yeah, apart from this, every week I do share some stocks in the newsletter, and one of the criteria that I have is the scanner, right? CCI weekly crossing 100, and it's a very simple scanner which gives out a lot of stocks every week. So this week I had 61 stocks. I went through all the 61 stocks, and I've selected 4 stocks which are technically plus fundamentally looking good. And that's the newsletter which is going to come out tomorrow. So don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter, and don't forget to look at the screener. I've already posted the screener in the comment section, right? So yeah, so that's some things I wanted to cover before we start. And also don't forget to subscribe to my follow me on Twitter. I have a lot of updates which I keep posting on Twitter, and this is the place where I'm most active. So if you really want to follow my updates on markets, to know which stocks I'm following, don't forget to follow this. And off late, I've also started trading options, and I'm still learning, by the way. So do not get excited and don't expect me to start teaching from day one right into getting into option teaching. But I will definitely look at it at some point, and we will have 1 lakh portfolio similarly, probably sometime a few more months, before we get hold of cash stocks trading. So it's very important to understand cash stock trading. That's why I'm doing this model portfolio here, and we'll probably have FN also, but that's again going to be model portfolio just for educational purposes, but with real money. Okay, so this week again I shared a few FNO stocks like Sun Pharma, Indusland Bank, Bharti Airtel. So you might want to have a look at those stocks because they look really good, and they do have a tendency, they're looking good, and they might have the probability to head higher from here. And especially in options, you can probably look for some good returns, but the key is risk management, right? So if you do not know how to track and trade cash stocks, then don't even think of looking at futures and option stocks, and don't even think of trading in futures and options, because you will blow away capital, and it's a very risky place to be in. I've lost money in trading futures and options, and I'm telling from my experience, especially if you have very less money with you, it's not the place that you have to be in. It's okay to make money slowly and steadily, but it's the most important thing here is, are you learning or not? If you continue to learn, then probably you will land there in a few years time, but you need to give yourself some time before you start trading option strategies. Okay, so that's quick kind of a marketing that I did while everyone joined me. I think we have a decent number of people, around 33, so a few more people probably will have, but let's get started. So it's the weekend, and every weekend what we do is track the stocks on the weekly charts and then go to daily charts. And if it's a month end, you also want to look at the monthly charts. Now this will probably tend to give you a very good picture on what the markets are doing, and that's very important as a trader or as an investor, because these weekly charts and monthly charts can give you very good signals, because that's an activity which has happened more than a week. So people have been trading a stock for more than a week, and that forms the weekly charts, right? For example, Nifty this week, this is the candle for this week, and the entire move of this week tells you what's been the market sentiment. And this week's market sentiment has been bullish, and probably it's going to roll over to the next week as well, and we're going to have more bullish markets in the coming weeks as well. But every weekend, do not forget to look at your stocks from a weekly perspective, and on a month end, don't forget to look at your stocks from a monthly charts perspective. So let's get started with this week's analysis. So as usual, we start off with Nifty. And Nifty does look fantastic, right? We talked about in the last newsletter, I did talk about the weekly inside bars. We had nice compression there for 3 weeks, and then we had the expansion, right? So price compression and price expansion are part and parcel of markets, and you have to expect price to compress at some point, which means the price goes sideways. Now here in this, if you see this move here, we almost had from 7th of June to 26th of July, we had almost 8 weeks. The markets went sideways before that strong move comes, and this is a typical tendency of any bull market. You will have sideways consolidation before the uptrend again resumes, and now all you have to do is wait for that buy trigger there, and then you keep holding that stock or index, and you keep making money, right? It sounds simple, but it's not really easy to follow it, because you have weeks where you have fluctuations, and that fluctuations kind of it creates panic in your mind, and then you're kind of thinking, should I sell off or should I hold, right? So there's a lot of things which happen. It takes some time, but be with the markets and you will kind of make money. Now I still remember back in April when there's a lot of thoughts on whether the market has stopped. We did form multiple dojis, and if you were joining my sessions, probably if you were on Twitter following me, then you'd know that we were talking about this trend line, this beautiful trend line, and markets have reversed wonderfully from there, and I'm still bullish. Probably we are heading towards 18,700, 900 levels, towards the channel top, and then probably we're going to consolidate for some time, right, before we move again up. But yeah, as I said, the weekly charts look fantastic. The open and close almost was low, and almost the high is equal to the highest point. So it looks excellent. We had 3 days continuous gap ups, right? 2 days of continuous gap ups, and that's showing how fast the markets are moving, right? So markets are in a hurry to head higher. Now this has to stop at some point, right? So that some point will come. The markets will tell us at which point that's going to happen. But for now, the trend has really, gone exponential, right? So we were going like this, and now if you see, the steepness has just increased, and that is telling us that the market is going really fast. Now, if you look from a geometry perspective, the angle here, you have a trend line angle here as well. So all you have to do is take this and just plot this, and you will notice that, right? So if you see here, this is a 30-degree angle, but here if you see, we're picking up pace, and that's a 60-degree angle. Now obviously this is not going to sustain, so it has to consolidate or correct at some point, and probably that's a few days or few weeks away. We never know. Let's not try to guess the markets. Let's go with the flow and let's see where that correction happens. But for now, the markets look fantastic and they are heading higher. Okay, now intraday traders are having a tough time to find trades because the markets have been gapping up last 2 days, and it's not really favorable from a risk reward perspective, because the moment it gaps up, you don't have a place to keep your stop loss, or you need to be really on your toes to know when you're going to square off the positions, right? But that's the trend line that I'm looking at. Probably we might correct towards the trend line at some point, and then we might again have another rally up, right? Also, I'm looking at this channel probably where we might have some so that's a very short-term channel, but probably we might face some resistance around 18,400 before we continue and head higher, right? But overall the market looks fantastic. The view for Monday is that we are still long. In fact, the markets are strong, so any levels towards of 18,310 or 300 levels can be brought. You can buy that dip probably with a stop around 18,296 levels, right? So that's the swing low which I'm looking at. Unless we don't go below that, I still see there is some momentum which might take the markets higher. Now, one of the key sectors that has been pushing this market up has been Bank Nifty. Now Bank Nifty looks very strong, and also I'll come to Bank Nifty shortly, but Bank Nifty looks very strong, and HDFC Bank results have come and they look decent. In fact, some people say it's fantastic, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. But Monday, if we have a gap up, then obviously it's difficult to buy that gap up. But if we dip towards 18,300 levels, then definitely that's a buy with a stop around 18,290 probably. And if you break 18,290, then probably markets might consolidate or correct as well. So depending on that, I hope you can make your plan. Now let's take a look at the sector indices, right? Starting from Bank Nifty. Now, Bank Nifty has been on a tear. Literally, the Bank Nifty has been going mad. The last few sessions, Bank Nifty has just been on a one-way move up. Now that's primarily led by HDFC Bank. If you've seen HDFC Bank charts, it's almost similar, and we've had some crazy consolidations and crazy moves since that breakout there, right? So we had some consolidation, then again a move, good move, consolidation, again a move, good move. So Bank Nifty does look very good. I think the momentum has clearly shifted very strong on the Bank Nifty side. So again, HDFC Bank Monday depends on how it opens, it might do well. But again, Bank Nifty, any dip towards 38,350 levels probably can be bought, because that's the previous consolidation level before we took off. So Bank Nifty looks very strong. And let's look at a few more sectors. Now, obviously, Bank Nifty is one of the sectors that I'm very bullish on since few days at least. If you've been with me daily live, you'd have noticed that. Now, apart from this, another sector which is really strong is auto, right? Auto had a very strong consolidation around that point, right? And we had an amazing breakout last week, and now it's heading higher. And I also see that this is going to probably break into lifetime highs, and we are close to all-time highs, right? So it just got rejected from all-time high, but I don't see a reason why it will not head higher. But the targets then can be much higher from here, but auto is one of the sectors which could lead Bank Nifty. Next is consumption. I think consumption also has been doing pretty well. Very one-way move up. Can take the markets higher from here. FMCG again has reversed very strongly right this week. So it looks like the consolidation of 3 weeks is over, and probably going to head higher from here. IT is one of the stocks, one of the sector which is looking weak, and for me that level there is very key for me. So 34,500, which is this week's low, which has been the low since many weeks, is a very key level to watch for. And if we kind of break that low, then probably IT is going to be weak, or it might continue stay weak for many more days. Now, even though Wipro results came strong, the index could not cross the previous highs, and we did see again a sell-off here. So that kind of looks like a resistance there. But unless we don't cross the previous highs, I'm still a little bearish on IT index, because all of the sectors have taken over. Probably it's time for IT index to correct and consolidate before it again goes up probably. So metal is another index which is looking very good. Again, it has been consolidation since July, and again we've had a nice breakout this week. And I feel again metals will tend to do well going forward. Again, all the stocks in the metal index sectors and the metal index does look well, so you want to go and check that as well. So mid cap has been on a tear again. We've had that multi-year breakout there in mid cap, right? So around that breakout we've had, and it's been going up. Now this is been a crazy move. It's been one of the best moves I think after that 2003, 2008, 2003, 4 move, and we've not had a single month red candle till now. That shows how strong we are in this bull market, and this can still continue ahead. No one knows when it'll correct, so don't kind of have don't guess anything, and don't just exit your stocks. That will not do any good for you. So continue to ride the trend, and we can see much higher levels. The pharma has been consolidating since again July. Again I see that pharma might break out next week or a week or two, but pharma does look very good. Remember, the pharma index is consolidating around the all-time highs, right? So this was the previous all-time high, and it has just been consolidating just after the breakout. So again looks fantastic, and it might head again higher from here. Okay, one of the most interesting sector is the PSU bank. It has finally broken out this week, and I think there's a lot of strength and a lot of opportunities in the PSU banking space, especially given that most of them are undervalued, because a lot of people do not want to own them because of the high NPAs and all that. But I think it's time to own at least a couple of banks, like Indian Bank or Bank of Baroda or a state bank, which looks excellent on charts, or a Canara Bank. You might want to own at least one or two of the stocks. They might probably give you that additional return that you're looking for. Otherwise, I think Realty has been doing very well. I've been covering this since many months, since last year also. I think it's been one of the best spaces to be in. Again, it has some volatility, but if you can bear that volatility, if you can stomach that volatility, then probably you'll see some good returns in the sector as well. So these are some of the stocks sectors that I wanted to talk about. And a lot of you who are new to the markets would be really scared to buy at such high levels. Now I agree to that point, because if you're new, you're afraid of a crash, but you never know how far markets can go, right? So someone who was afraid of buying, let's say an Adani Ports, probably who was afraid to buy here, afraid to buy here, afraid to buy here, now would again be afraid because the stock has again moved up 10%. All you're afraid is what if the stock again comes down, and you're probably waiting for an opportunity to buy. But that's not how you have to be in markets. Always buy strong stocks, continue to hold them with a defined stop loss, continue to define your risk. Defining your risk is the most important part in trading, and only that can help you to make money. Okay, so but yeah, just don't sell off. If you're holding some stocks, keep trailing a stop loss. There are so many indicators that can help you do that. Trailing a stop loss will really help you make more money in the markets. But for now, a lot of stocks look fantastic. Even the large caps look amazing, and I still see that this bull run has many legs before it starts correcting again. Even if you have corrections, probably will not have that strong corrections, I feel. And every dip might again be bought. Especially India, I think has seen some of the best performance in the last 1 year, and it's primarily driven by, I think, the DIs. People like us who are doing SIP mode every month. I think we've been the biggest drivers. FIs have lost their sheen, I think. FIs have been selling, but DIs have been buying, and that's been pushing our markets higher and higher. And I think that might continue. That might be the trend going forward as well. Okay, so that's my view. Now, after looking at these charts, also what I do is I look at the portfolio that we handle. So it's been 3 months. We are up 25%. So let's look at the stocks we're holding and how they've been performing. So Lakshmi Chem, we've been holding since 280 levels. So we bought at 280, then we pyramided more, we bought more, and average price at 342. And it is up 58%, but stop loss is at 530 right now. So we've been trailing a stop loss continuously, and our stop loss today is at 530. We'll look at the chart shortly. And Tata Lexi is something which we entered a few months back. So if you see here, we also have the holding period. Days, right? So Tata Lakshmi Chem, we've been holding since 66 days. That's a little over 2 months. Tata Lexi, we've been holding over 2 months. And Anderson Craftsman, we've been holding since a month, right? So these are stocks, and these are the returns. So you can look at them: 41%, 17%, and 4%. Now, all these stocks were entered with very minor risk. So we entered a Lakshmi Chem with a 7% risk, 7% stop loss. Tata Lexi with a 5.3% stop loss, Anderson with a 4.5% stop loss, and Craftsman with 5% stop loss. And till now, we are these are the returns. So you can see the current RR here and the current market price here, right? So this is average price and this is the current market price. So till now we have locked in 54% returns in Lakshmi Chem. So in case Lakshmi Chem reverses and goes below 530, we'll exit and we'll still be booking 55% returns, and that is a 12-hour trade. So we risked 7% and we made 12 times that risk. So that's what this says. And the Tata Elxsi also has been a good run, and I hope these two stocks also perform well. Now let's look at the charts and let's look at the weekly charts as well, right? So Lakshmi Chem is the first stock we've been holding. Now again, on the weekly charts, always look at the weekly charts at the weekends. So since that week of sell-off, I've been telling that it's going to go into some consolidation. We've been seeing some consolidation, but remember, we've not been seeing any big red candles, right? That's very important note, because you might feel that this selling there probably might take the stock lower. It might or might not, we do not know, but all we know is right now we have not seen a single red candle, and we are seeing dojis, right? So it's a pause in the trend, this massive uptrend. So all I know is that for now, our stop loss is around this low here. It's probably forming a symmetrical triangle pattern, and we might break out tomorrow on the coming weeks. There's been also positive news around the anti-dumping duty on some of the chemicals which Lakshmi Organics produces. So it might have a positive effect tomorrow, maybe, I do not know, but this does look like a very fantastic setup. If you see, we've been having excellent volumes on every green candle, and volumes have been dropping on the sell-off, right? So volumes, yeah, you have to take that with a pinch of salt, but the multi-time frame analysts can help you understand what actually the stocks are doing. So this does look fantastic, and I am still holding this, expecting a move up. Okay, so next is Tata Elxsi. Again, we bought this around I think around 4,000 levels, if I'm not right. So around 4,400 levels is where we bought it, and it's been trending really well, right? Again, this trend has still been intact, and we're just consolidating again here, just a similar consolidation we've had here. Now again, here the stop loss is this point, 5,750 odd, and we are locking in some good profits. And if you see, the trend has been really up. Now this is a perfect example of why you should buy a stock which is moving up. Now even though the stock went from 500 levels to 4,000, I still bought the stock at 4,000 rupees with just a 5% stop, right? Now that's what you should be doing. In case you missed some other stocks, try to get an entry and see if it works out. If it doesn't work out, all you lose is just 1% of your capital, but if it works out, it's going to give you good returns. So stocks with momentum tend to do well, and a lot of studies have proven that. And this portfolio also is an example for that, right? So again, looks fantastic on the weekly charts. Again, a doji. Now remember, we've had dojis even before, and that just is a signal of consolidation. Whether it's going to go up or down, markets will tell you. But for now, dojis look. You take dojis with a positive bias. Okay, then we have Anaras. Again, this has been doing well. It has been in one of our portfolios. After 2 weeks of dojis, not so good candles, we finally had a good green candle, which is a strength candle, which I call it. Strength candle is basically a candle with a very strong body, a big body, instead of having this wicks, right? Now on the daily charts also, we've had a good volumes. We've had good volumes on 14th of October, and we did have a nice breakout there, and probably we are heading higher, right, from here. So just a matter of time before we head higher and we break out. And Anaras again is a good decent company. So Craftsman is the fourth stock we've been holding. Again, it's after the move, it's just consolidating probably, but again, a good green candle on the charts, a nice breakout there, again looking fantastic. So these are stocks we're holding, and we will continue to hold them. Now, just for people who are new, understanding your portfolio and how it is moving, right? So this has been our equity curve, and if you see, the equity curve has been pretty smooth, right? With some dips, we've had some. So we started with 1 lakh back in 13th of July. We went down to 97,000, so we lost 3%. Then we went all the way up to 1,04,000. Then we again came back to 98,000, right? And since the 98,000, we've been going up steadily and consistently. So the drawdown has been just 6%, and we've made 25% till now. So for the drawdown, I think the returns are decent and not bad. Okay, so if you're also trading, you need to look at this and you see how you're performing. You can't keep going down very fast, coming up very fast. You need to have a steady growth, and that will keep your returns in check as well. Okay, so yeah, that's all I wanted to cover this week. Maybe there are a lot of stocks that you have. We can take a look at them, but let's look at the F&O stocks, right? So I did cover 3 or 4 F&O stocks, starting with Bharti Airtel, and probably how I would trade them, right? Because I'm still learning, as I said. Don't be too excited that you can take this trade. I again repeat, do not trade options unless you have confidence in yourself when you're trading cash stocks. Okay, now this is the chart of Bharti Airtel, And I'm looking at the weekly charts first. On the weekly charts, if you see, we've had a big green red candle after that massive move. But also, if you notice, we've had a stop around that point, right? We look at where's that pause. And then we had an inside bar last week, and we've again had an inside bar this week. Now, inside bar, I just explained that in Nifty. Inside bar is a compression pattern, which means the price is kind of contracting. And usually after contraction, an expansion happens. On that expansion can happen on upside or downside. Now, we will go with the bias of the upside because this has been an uptrend and this is just normal consolidation probably. Right now, if you go to the daily charts, you will notice that there was this consolidation here and the markets have kind of reversed from that same consolidation zone. Right now, usually previous points where price has reversed will act as resistance support and next when the stock comes down. So here the stock could not cross. Once it crossed, it was a good move, and then again it came and retested the same zone. So that's a support, which was a resistance before. Now, some of you might not understand these terms that I'm talking about, especially if you're new. You might want to go and read my blog to get some clear understanding. Now, if you look since last 1 week, right, we've been Airtel has just been going sideways. Literally, there's not been any movement, right? Now that shows that the stock is no one is buying nor selling the stock, right? So it's a good sign. But if you notice in the last couple of hours, right, during the end of the last session on Thursday, kind of reversed strongly, and it did not close below that level there, and it kind of also has a support around that zone. Right now, that's the reason why this stock is in my radar, and I think this stock might do well in the next week, right? So probably we might consolidate for the first couple of hours on when we open on Monday. So if you see there is still some more room for consolidation, it might consolidate, depends on how the market's open and how the stock reacts. But I think there's a lot of scope for the stock to head higher. Now, how would I trade this? Right now, 685 is what the stock is trading at, and now you have multiple option types, right? So first of all, always keep 1% as a risk, or even 2% is okay, but don't go beyond 2% of your capital as a risk. So if you have 10 lakhs to trade, first of all, you should not be allocating more than 10 or 20% in your option trade, right? Beyond that, you need to be really skilled to allocate that amount of capital. So I'm still learning here. So yeah, obviously go less, take less positions. But how you should be trading this is, if it's 685, now the re-swing high here is 707, right? So this is the previous swing high. Now, in case it breaks out here, the first targets for me is 700 levels. So I probably take a 700C, or which is slightly out of the money, but it's almost at the money for me, slightly out of the money, I'd say. But if you want to take at the money option, then probably you're going to take 685 or 680 option as well. But don't go beyond 700, because the chances of this stock going to 700 and coming again back is little higher. So your 700 option might not do well. If you take anything above 700, it might not do well, especially given that we have just 2 more weeks left for the expiry. So again, it's very basic that I'm doing. Now that's a naked option that I just gave you. But alternatively, what you can also do is buy the 700 option and sell probably 740 option on the higher side. So that's a spread that you'd be doing, and that might probably, so even if the stock doesn't go up, and this 740 option would probably give you some money, because it might not go till 740, but that option is kind of keeping your risk under check. When you buy a naked option, just a naked 700 option, then you're going to probably lose everything. But when you hedge it with the 740 option, when you sell the hedge of 740 call option, then that's going to hedge your 700 call option you're buying here. Now there are multiple ways to trade. This is one of the techniques. Now, but one of the other trades could be also that 660 option over here, and probably 680 option here. The put option here and here would probably expire worthless. And right now, I think they're trading at some premium because it's quite low. So you can also kind of, create a spread and sell off the put option at 680 and 660 and buy a lower put option to hedge that selling of that put option. Now, there are multiple ways to trade. Again, don't, really be worried if you don't understand. It took me years to get to this point. So I'll definitely try to cover this little by little every day in our sessions. But again, 3 options that you have. One is buy a naked put option, either 700 or 685. I prefer buying the 700. If you're a little conservative, go for the 685 option. If you that's the first way, right? Trade naked call option. The second option is buy the 700 put option and sell the 740 put option, which is there, right? So that's the next resistance. So buy the 700 put option and sell the 740 put option. The third option is sell the put option at 680 and 660 and probably buy a put option, which is a little probably around 650 levels or even 600 levels. Now this Strike price selection is, I'm still trying to figure this out, but yeah, that's probably some of the ways that you could trade it. Okay, so also if you want to really learn about options, there is this nice channel called Tasty Trade. You want to probably go and look at that channel, and that channel has some really good explanations on how you can trade options. Now that's been my primary site where I learn, but it's up to you how you want to trade it. Okay, now the same thing applies for Sun Pharma and Indusland Bank. Go ahead and check those charts and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so we already have 30 minutes. Another 30 minutes is what I'll give you. Then we can kind of call it a day. And now let's take a look at your questions. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll say hello to everyone in the chats. I'm just reading. I think Maruti Gangadhara Kiran, I've just mentioned that mid cap has gone above. We can't really expect, I'm not really good at expecting, what is the top. You cannot really do that. So just trail your stop loss and keep holding your stocks. Okay, otherwise, yeah, I'll start looking at the questions. So Stormcatcher is asking if we on Tech Mahindra and SSW, what would be the buy positions in both? I think Tech Mahindra is, kind of, forming a base. Now we spoke about this before, why I would have exited Tech Mahindra, at that point. So once Tech Mahindra broke out, came down below 1414, that was a very strong support, kind of had a breakdown, and now we're kind of not struggling to go up, right? So I'd probably buy Tech Mahindra again only if it crosses 1545. Until then, probably it can consolidate and go sideways also. Or what you can also look at is, in case it comes towards this trend line, then probably you can look at buying again. But for now, the IT index, as I said, looks weak, and the stock also has formed a lower low, right? So this was the previous low. We made a lower low now, and probably we're forming a lower high as well, right? So this candle doesn't really look good. It is a doji, and you need some more time before confirmation. So I'd not buy this right now at this point. I'll buy it probably only above 1545. Okay, next is SSWL. Now this does look good, right? SSW, if you see, it's consolidating around the previous support zone, and this does look good. So you can go long on the stock, buy the stock with the stop around 1670, aggressive. If you're a little conservative, then go for 1450. Okay, remember, the closer your stop loss you keep, the more chances of your stop loss getting hit. Okay, cool. Should we use a sheet for stock tracking purposes? Probably yes. We'll go ahead, and I've already done a trading journal on this, so you can use that as well. Okay, Rohit says, I entered VSLS last week at 3024. Can I have a view, sir? It's up 7% already, but this week's candle is not so good. So Rohit, don't, as I said again, don't look at weekly candles. So it's good to take a perspective of the weekly candles, right? Like, for example, Lakshmi Chem, if I had looked at the weekly candle of Lakshmi Chem on this week, I'd have probably sold it off, right? But I would not sell it off, because that's just a pause in the trend, and small cap, mid cap stock usually tend to do this. We had this candle here as well, right? So don't really, go ahead and just sell it off. Probably you need to have some patience and see what the stock is doing, right? So if you see, even after this candle here, it had a similar kind of a wick at the top, but it went sideways. It did not really break that master candle, right? And it's been having a good move, but I'd say probably hold this still with a stop loss at 2820, which is this low, or probably even 2600, right? It can head higher from here. Okay, Kunal is saying most of the stocks are trading around all-time high, and I missed the rally completely. Could you suggest some good stocks for long term that we can buy now? There are a lot of stocks which I keep recommending on my newsletter, Kunal. So do subscribe to the newsletter. Tomorrow you will get a few stocks. Stick to the stop loss, enter the stocks, and hold to the stop loss. If the stock goes below the stop loss, please exit the stocks, because you never know when the market will reverse, and if it reverses, every stock is going to go down. None of the stocks will be spared. Okay, and there's nothing, for me at least, there's nothing called long term. I do not want my capital to go down below 20%. The maximum I'd allow my portfolio to go down is 20%. Below that, I'll just sit on cash. Probably a bear market will start once it goes below 20%. So yeah, look out for the newsletter tomorrow, and you can take a call. Precision wires, Sagar has a question on that. Let's look at it. I think again, Sagar, it's just going sideways. It had a nice breakout there. Just going sideways might take some more time before it heads higher. Stop loss is 225 or 210 also can be a stop. Okay, KDDL. Excellent breakout this week. We had a 5 months consolidation, an excellent breakout, excellent volumes. It can head higher. Probably it's heading out towards all-time high 600 levels probably, and above 600 you can see much higher moves, right? But the stock is in a very strong uptrend. Continue to hold the stock, with the stop around 400 levels. Okay. Um, Vinay is asking Sona BMW. Sona has been an excellent trend up. In fact, it's been on a terrific trend, I think. So we did spot this somewhere on there, right? We said that's a breakout and time correction towards retest, and it's been having good move. It can head higher. Keep your stop loss around 545 levels. Okay. Also tighten an upper boundary of parallel channel. Rohit, let's look at it. Yes, Titan is heading towards the upper boundary. I think I did post. No, there's some more time, right? So if you see this move from here, there's still some more time probably before it heads. So I think probably it can head towards, if the bull run continues, probably 4,000 levels can be seen as well. But I think there is some more time before it tops out. Okay. And thanks for the support, Rohit. Yes, everyone, please like and subscribe to my channel. That'll be some really good motivation for me. Here Vilash says, the spreadsheet is like a mini PMS. I'm so happy I found a few months back. I was really looking for such knowledge. Thank you for all the efforts. Really glad. I hope everyone is learning. And let's look at HUL. He also wants my view on HUL. HUL, I think we did discuss last week. It was around the trend line resistance, and it has kind of reversed again, a doji again. Now, if you see the volumes on Thursday has been excellent, right? So it did try to move down, but the market did not, let the stock go down. If you see last 5 days, the stock has been just going sideways. Now, a simple setup would be you buy above that high with a stop loss at that low. So you simply buy about 2693 or 95 or 2700 with a stop of 2620, right? On the weekly charts, again, if you see, we're kind of pausing, right? Volume has risen. So probably that's a pause, in this entire trend of HUL. And also, if you see here, we kind of had a breakout there, and it's just kind of retest, right? So assuming that it's a retest, you can go long, but above 2695 or 2700, and probably a stop at 2620. Okay, you can also take probably futures position, but remember it's leveraged. Vinay, SBI card, let's look at it. Yeah, SBI is probably going to break out, right? You're right. It's a perfect rectangle setup. It's been retesting that rectangle on the lower levels and higher levels. So it's a perfect rectangle setup. You can go long. If you think that was a reversal, then keep a stop around 1090, and you can buy above 1160, right? So that's the stop. So that's 70 point stop, 7% stop loss, and it can probably hit higher as well, right? That's a good stock. Nishant is asking, Mirza International had an excellent inverted head and shoulders. It's in the footwear space. I think it's forming an excellent inverted head and shoulders, and I think a breakout from here can really move the stock good. And so it's just facing resistance around that point, right? So there was a massive breakdown back in Feb 19. Now you see that's support, right? This is why I say you should be selling at support when a support breaks. We had a break support, it broke the support there and just been going sideways, and again it's trying to break out. So the moment this breakout happens, you're going to see targets of 186, which is probably triple from here. And just a simple rule here is buy above 70, with a stop at probably, keep a stop loss around 56. So buy above 70, stop loss around 56. You can see all-time highs again, probably, right? Everything is a probability in markets. Okay. So I have a question from Maruti. View on Tech Mahindra. Tech Mahindra, given my view. Bombay dying. Let's look at Bombay dying. I think Bombay dying is just consolidating sideways. Again, that channel is not a perfect channel though. I'll remove that. But yeah, there is some consolidation around that breakout zone, right? So again, it does look good. Volumes have been excellent recently. It has been going sideways, so it can break out again. You can buy at current market price. Keep a stop around 85 levels. It can probably head towards targets of 150. Okay, but keep a strict stop loss of 85, right? Because this is a very volatile stock, Maruti. Sorry, Bombay dying. Okay. Next one is Britannia. Satish is asking. I think Britannia, the entire FMCG space looks good. You don't have to really worry. Again, you see a doji this week on the weekly charts, and it's kind of forming a base, right? So again, it does look good. Also, if you see the horizontal resistance, there it is kind of forming a base around that previous breakout. right? So it does look good. It can head higher. For me, according to me, it's a good investment stock as well. So if you're investing, your stop loss should be 3,300. But if you're positional trading, then you can keep a stop at this week's low as well. Okay. Hero Motor Corp also looks good. I think it is about to break out. Again, if you see that's a wedge breakout there. And last few weeks, again, I always say look at the weekly charts, right? So weekly charts will give you an excellent view of what's happening on the long-term charts. If you see last 5 weeks, the stock has just been going sideways, but it has had good green candles, right? Again, we've had a follow-up green candle. Now all it probably it's going to break out next week and it can head higher. Remember, the auto space looks excellent and it just has to break out and then it can head higher. And the move will be really fast because it has been going sideways for 5 weeks now. So in this case, you want to keep a stop around 2780. Okay. Naresh is asking me on Sonata Software and Info Edge. So this is a textbook. It's a very good stock, Naresh. It's a textbook parallel channel. It's been going in a parallel channel since that COVID crash. I think it is just consolidating sideways because the channel resistance is there, right? If you see every time it goes, channel resistance goes sideways and then tries to move again. So it can still head higher towards the upper channel, right? Probably 1,000 levels, probably. And then again, it might go sideways and correct. But the stock does look good. Keep a stop loss around 850 levels. Can do well. Okay, so next is Info Edge. Info Edge has had a breakout. In fact, I covered this in one of the Petter's posts, I think. We had a breakout on 5,500 and it's already up 1,500 points. It's a good 30% reward, right? Again, we had a symmetrical triangle breakout on Wednesday, Thursday, again a good move. So I think it looks good. It can head higher. Stop loss is 6,400 levels. Okay. Gravitas is just going sideways, Maruti. So if you see again, it's forming a symmetrical triangle. It's probably close to the trend line. So on the linear charts, if you see, it's close to the trend line. So I think it's done. The bottom is done. A very good risk reward setup. I think keep stop 185. You can buy now and we can expect higher levels going forward. Okay. It's just consolidating around all-time highs. I did post this some time back. I think a few people have bought the stock, just consolidating around all-time highs. You see monthly also we've had inside bars. So it's just about time. This can give an excellent move. Just keep holding on to this. Okay. Yeah, Jinesh, Coforge and Dixon. Guys, I'd be more than happy to answer any strategy related questions of how you should have your portfolio and all that, than just answering stock related questions. So Coforge also is kind of consolidating. I think it just has to break out. But again, a stop loss here could be the low of this day. 5,000 could be a stop loss. It's just probably consolidating sideways before it can head higher again. Okay, Dixon I think is again on a tear. It's been one of the best stocks of late. It's been trending really beautiful. So positional traders, you should probably keep your stop loss around 4,750. If you're an investor, then probably keep around 3,700 also would work well. Now investors usually, if you're investing in the stock, you still need to have a stop loss according to me. There's nothing called long-term investment according to me, and probably that stop loss here in this, if you're investing, should be around 3,760, right? On the weekly charts, for investing, always go to the weekly charts, find a nice base, and that should be a stop loss. And then once it heads higher, trying to find the next base and then try to trail a stop loss, right? Because stocks on the weekly charts, the supports and resistance on weekly charts tend to do better than the ones on daily charts. Okay. Yeah, I've given my views on Hero Motors, so Bajaj Finserv. I think Maruti, let's keep it to two stocks per people. I think there are too many questions from you. I'll come back to it again if I have time. Okay, Christian is asking me on McDowell. I think McDowell has been a good trade. I think I also had a trade recently in McDowell. It has been on a terrific move up. I think we had this, I covered this in my stock newsletter, right? And just going to delete this, right? So we had a breakout on this month and it has very strong momentum. I think probably it's just consolidating for now. It's one of the first weeks of consolidation after the 3 weeks move. So it might take a couple of weeks before it heads higher. It's also, I think short term it has had a breakdown, but I think don't worry, keep your stop loss, around 805. If you're a positional trader, if you're an investor, just keep holding the stock, probably on weekly charts, wait for a good consolidation. And for now, if you're an investor, keep your stop loss on 629. I think the stock can do well going forward. Remember, this is an excellent breakout after 4 odd years, and I see much higher targets for this stock. Ultratech and Axis Bank. The cement stocks have bottomed out. That much I can tell you already. So I'm just looking at this charts here. So yeah, I can remove this. Right, the cement stocks have bottomed. The reason I'm saying is most of the stocks, if you go to the charts, they have reversed from the previous support zones. Right, so probably there was a shakeout there, and you also see a doji. Right, so I think the cement stocks have bottomed out and they can head higher again. All cement stocks look fantastic, and you might want to look at them for some good short-term returns. Axis Bank. Sorry, in cement stock, if you want here, stop loss again depends on what kind of trader you are. If you're a positional trader, probably it's a good time to enter now with a stop loss at 2 days low, which is 7190. Okay, but if you're an investor, probably I'd keep on the weekly charts as I just mentioned, probably here, and then once it crosses the high, then you can trail your stop loss to this point. Okay, next is Axis Bank. Axis Bank is looking really good. It is just around the all-time high. I think it's going to break out soon, probably this week or next week, but it does look fantastic. That's a nice base forming around the all-time high. Once it breaks out, you can look for higher targets in Axis Bank as well. So if you're looking for a stop here, the stop should be this low around 750 odd levels. Okay. ITC and VPL, Binay, ITC looks excellent. You can just tweet, you can just look at my Twitter feed. You will find some good long-term parallel channel setups in ITC. Now, whenever you look at long-term charts, go and look at, log charts, right? So if you look at ITC, we've had this nice correction since 4 years. So we had a 4-year correction here. Again, we had a 4-year correction here. And now we had a breakout. 2 months of move, good. Now, ITC has clearly bottomed out. If still someone is bearish on ITC, then I don't see a point in that. So even if you're a technical analyst, you should not be bearish on ITC anymore because the trend looks excellent. So stop loss here is 230. I think, as I always say, parallel channels, all trades are excellent and they can head higher. Right now, I want to give you one stock that probably might do well going forward, a setup similar to ITC, which is BTC. Right, BTC also is in a similar parallel channel setup, and we are almost close to the end of this consolidation. Now, if you see, the stock has not really gone below that weekly low. We had a shakeout this week, and the stock in the last few days is just going sideways, and there is a nice setup there, right, for a quick return. So probably a few more weeks in this stock before it heads higher, but if you see last 4 weeks, it's continuous dojis signaling in a pause in trend, and this move here we had amazing volumes with green candles, and now we're just consolidating. So I think ITC is a good setup for now to go long, especially from investing perspective. If you have the patience, then buy a small position now and then add more once it crosses 1250 levels. Okay, it's a simple trade setup. Binay, BEPL is about to break out all-time highs. So if you look at that point, it's just consolidating around the all-time highs back in 2018, which it had. Right? So once it breaks out, then probably we're going to have 300. Again, in this case, also price is trending in a parallel channel, and I think 300 is coming soon in the stock as well. Okay, Hiramoto, I've already given my view. Please just rewind. Rohit Bosch looks excellent on charts. I think we covered this in the previous session. Again, a nice breakout there this week, this month. In fact, a very good breakout. And I see probably ITC, that's not a perfect channel, so I'll not go to the channel. But I think all-time highs are coming soon for this stock. At least 22,000 is coming short term, and then probably even 25,000 is coming. Right? Excellent moves here. Again, keep a stop around 15,200 levels. Swaraj Engines. I think Swaraj Engines has bottomed out. It has reversed from this trend line. It has moved up. So I think it can head higher. Again, the auto space looks good. I think this is an auto space as well. So yeah, I think the retest is done and it looks very good. All right, volumes again picking up. Continue to hold. Here stop loss is 1580. Okay. You cannot identify such fast movers like IRCTZ. There's no way to identify such fast movers. All you can do is enter a stock and keep adding as the stock goes higher. That's how you can predict such stocks. There's no way you can identify. Otherwise, once you see a stock moving very fast, then go and buy at that breakout point. So IRC had given multiple opportunities, right? So that was one opportunity there, right? You could have bought that breakout there. You could have bought another breakout there, right? You could have bought that breakout there. So there were multiple opportunities. The thing is, do you have the courage to go and buy the breakout, right? So there is no way to identify such fast moving stocks. The only way to identify is, have a ranking based system, try to see the rate of change over the last few months or last 1 year, see the rate of change and then find those stocks and try to enter the stocks. Now, If you can't do that, just buy a small case which trades momentum, like a weekend weekend investing small case or a capital mine small case. Just buy those, and they probably might be holding one of these stocks. So that is a simple way to do it. Pay some money and you have some good views. Okay. I think I have a lot of questions still. Rakshit asking Apcotex. Apcotex has broken out again. I kind of recommended here, and then we had 2-month consolidation again moving up. It looks good again. Keep a stop loss around 290 levels. Max Healthcare. I think Max Healthcare has reversed from this middle channel, right? So that's middle channel trend line. I think it has reversed. I think it can head higher again. A good candle this week. That's a trend line there. I think it can head higher. A stop loss can be this week's low as well. 345 stop. No, your stop loss should be 325. Vinay, and target can be 400 can be the target. That's a good one. Okay. Srinivas, Bharti, I've given my view. Godrej, I don't know which Godrej. Please tell me which Godrej Industries or Godrej Properties. Abhishek, Ambuja Cement has kind of bottomed out. I think, as I said, cement stocks looks fantastic. I did have a view at it. So we see this channel is perfectly taking support, right? So I'm just going weekly chart to show you the channel is perfect support. It has again reversed. Now again, if you look at the weekly chart last week, that was a sign of a pause in that downtrend. Now it's again reversing, right? So looks fantastic. Ambuja Cements can do well going forward. Okay. Vijay, that's a good question. If a sector is breaking out, look for the stronger stocks in that sector, right? Now, for example, when IT stocks, IT index had a breakout, LTI or Larsen Tober Infotech was one of the first stocks which had a strong breakout, right? So I still remember when I spotted LTI, it was around that level, and IT index wasn't even talking about IT index, and this was already in my scanner. And you just go and search with demand supply investor and put hashtag LTI, you will find the tweet back in July, and since the tweet the stock has gone up 3x. So always look for breakouts and stocks which are moving already ahead of the index, and that's probably is the stocks that will tend to do well. And look for stocks near all-time high or which are probably 20-30% away from all-time high. Those stocks tend to do well because there is not much supply ahead, so those stocks just have a ferocious run. Okay. HDFC Bank looks fantastic, Arun. So as I said, the bank index is being held by this stock. It had an excellent closing last week, so any dips here can be bought. HDFC Bank, the stop loss can be as low as 1530. Okay, as high, sorry. Abhinav, don't you feel scared about entering trades? No, I never feel scared. I, in fact, see this as very good opportunities to make quick money. Sometimes if you need, some stocks can do really well. So it takes time to come to that level. So, but you need to have patience and learn. And at some point you will get rid of that fear because you have a stop loss and you have your risk defined and you know how much you're going to lose. Okay. You need to wait for a consolidation of, for example, Indian Bank and Canara Bank. I will tell you how to enter Indian Bank and Canara Bank probably. Right now, Indian Bank has given a very good breakout, right? So if you look at the charts, it has given a breakout. It has also broken out from a very good setup, right? So if you see again, the setup it always looked good, right? So the green candles always look good. The red candles weren't that much of sell-off, and now it has broken out here. Now what you need to do is wait for a short consolidation, or you can enter now with small position, keep your stop loss around 138, and then once you see similar consolidation, then you enter above that breakout point, right? Then tail stop loss again. So that's how you should do it. Okay, I think I've spoken about this multiple times, but still, yeah. Maruti, just too many stocks. Sorry, I don't have the time to answer for so many stocks. Please join sessions daily. We answer 2-3 stock questions, so please ask there and I'll answer your questions. You have just so many stocks, it's just impossible to answer right now. But I did answer a few of them, so yeah, you can join again on Monday and probably take them. Deepak, I don't use Fibonacci to be honest. So in fact, I just trail my stop loss always. I don't find targets. Even though I know there's a resistance, which could probably be the target, I always trail my stop loss. Okay. Krishnavani, no, Motilal did not fail. So Motilal is still forming higher lows. So if you were talking Motilal as well, there were multiple buy points, right? So if you assume that that's the first breakout, right? So your first entry was at this point or this point, then your second entry should have been at this point, right? Or this point. So it is still forming higher high, higher lows, right? So I don't know why you're saying it's failing, but pyramiding on higher breakout usually should not fail. If it fails, which means the swing low has been taken out, right? Now, for example, even if you had entered from here, right, the only place for you to pyramid was at this point, right? At that point, your stop loss was probably here, right? And if you notice, on a weekly closing basis, probably if you're holding, then the stock never went close below that, right? And this is not a place to pyramid, because here it went continuously all the way up. So you always wait for a good consolidation pyramid, right? Another stock has come down again, it is giving you chances to pyramid, and I see that as a proper way to do it. If you can't find, if you don't know how to pyramid, then you go to my Twitter profile, right? There is a sheet here, and go to the strategy section, right? Go to the strategy section here and search for the all-in-one trading chart. When you click on this, you will see a nice chart which tells you how to pyramid and how to exit, right? This is purely from positional trading perspective, how to enter, define stop loss, and when to pyramid and exit. Please go through this. You will find this much helpful, and try to apply this for multiple stocks. Okay, so please do that. And if you have questions, to ping me and I'll always respond. Okay. Okay. I think I've answered everything. Indusland Bank, Rakesh, go to my Twitter, you can find my views. India Cements, wait for the newsletter view tomorrow. India Cements is one of the stocks that I'm covering tomorrow. So probably you can check that newsletter. Okay, so I think last one is steel sector. I've already covered the steel sector in the starting, so just go back and watch it. You might find it useful. And last question was from, sorry, Abhishek also has a question from Laurus Labs. Let's look at Laurus Labs. Right, Laurus Lab has it is forming a bottom, and it's probably about to break out there. I think once it crosses 660 levels, and probably a bottom is in place. But it looks like it's kind of made a bottom, because this rally had a dip. It filled the gap, right? So there was a gap there. It filled the gap, and now it is going back again. So I think a breakout next week would be fantastic, and Laurus can again head higher. Right? Again, if you see here, we've never broken the higher low structure. The higher high low is still intact, and this can still do well going forward. Okay, so yeah, I think I've answered all your questions. Probably one question from Deepak: CAMs and advanced enzymes. I think I did speak about CAMs on Twitter sometime back. It is just consolidating. Probably I see this is heading towards 2700 levels, but I would not buy the stock until this downtrend breaks out. So even you should not be buying it unless the downtrend breaks out. You will save money and you will save capital. Okay, and your opportunity cost also is saved. Advanced enzymes. I think this stock also has been going sideways, right? So that's a trend line that I'm watching. So until it doesn't go below the trend line, it can still head higher. You just need to have some patience. It's just going sideways, right? So it needs to probably break out from that zone, and then probably it can head higher. Okay, so that's the level that you have to be watching for. So once it crosses 420, then it can head higher from here. Okay, okay guys, I think I'll stop here. So I have nothing else. So I hope you did, enjoy the session. I've answered a lot of questions, literally every question except for the multiple questions if you asked. And do join us every day at 11. You can ask questions there, and I do answer each and every question in that 30 to 45 minutes that I spend every day. So, and also don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to let me know your views on the newsletter, which will be shared tomorrow at 2:30 sharp in your inbox. You will see it. Otherwise, I'll leave you here. Take care, stay safe, and have a nice weekend, and have a nice Sunday before I see you again next Monday. Okay, thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.